My dear students, good morning. This is Deepak Kumar. In previous lecture, we talked about major themes of the play The Merchant of Venice that is written by William Shakespeare. In today's class, we are going to discuss its characterization. Now, character is derived from Greek meaning an instrument for marking or distinctive nature. In a play or narrative, a character is a participant in the action as distinctive or flat as the author chooses to make them. We learn about them from their dialogue, action, and description. This constitutes characterization, that is, the way in which a writer creates his character to either attract or repel our sympathy. Different forms of literature use different conventions of characterization. In all, consistency of motive is a necessary factor. So let's discuss. Portia. Portia is intelligent and has great strength and integrity. Her loyalty to her father is unquestionable. Kindness and generosity are her hallmarks. She is sympathetic and wise, quickly summing up a problem and providing the solution. She enjoys unusual situations and can often create them, like the ring episode. She is independent with a strong will, yet a gentle spirit that is eager to surrender to one she considers worthy. She shows a great capacity for love and boundless generosity. How is all this brought out in the play? Through the action and dialogue, Portia's discretion is shown through her acceptance of her father's will and her refusal to tell Bassanio the truth of the caskets. She intuitively knows, perhaps without even Nerissa having to tell her, that there is wisdom in thus choosing her husband. Though she feels hemmed in by the term of her father's will, she is loyal, unlike Jessica. The contrast helps to characterize her. She acts as a foil to Jessica's character. Her quick intelligence and presence of mind are shown in the excellent planning which demands spot decisions. Not one plan backfires. The trial seems like a cakewalk for her. Such is her poise and control. Her sympathy and consideration are shown through her guiding the Duke and Antonio subtly in mitigating Shylock's punishment. Down, therefore, and beg money and the Duke of the Duke. And the Duke, as if on cue, shows the difference of our spirit in pardoning Shylock's life. Her love and generosity towards Bassanio is unconditional. She surrenders all her property to Bassanio spontaneously. One would wonder if Bassanio really deserves so much, having wasted away his patrimony. Portia's wit is undoubtedly her most enjoyable trait. It shines through on every occasion and delights with its versatility and quickness. The next part is the next character that is very important is Shylock. A man more sinned against than sinning, yet Shylock is malicious. He takes the wrongs done to his nation too personally. He is capable of vitriolic hatred towards his enemies. He is strong-willed and demanding, rather cunning, cruel, and avaricious. He plots Antonio's death under the pretense of friendship. He appears to have loved his wife, has provided well for his daughter, and has enormous reserves of patience because for years he has quietly borne the Christians' insults and abuses. In the court, he does not react to Gratiano's needling. He is so used to it, dismissing it with a repair thy wit, good youth, or it will fall to cureless ruin. He is a moneylender, a usurer, but apparently perfectly honest in his business. No one mentions that he cheats his debtors. He is intellectually and emotionally rooted in his religion, and his imagination is peopled by the characters of the Old Testament. In an inhospitable, cruel world, he draws spiritual comfort from his beliefs. Material prosperity is a divine blessing, and thrift almost a religious virtue. Shylock is presented as unloving and unloved. His presentation is a way of expressing the truth about intolerance, a defect that reflects on an entire community and can cast a shadow on its strengths. It compels one to look inwards. We realize that years of persecution, hatred, and ill treatment, accompanied by abusive language, have made Shylock bitter and revengeful. He is a man like everyone else and deserves to be treated like one, not like a cur as Antonio would. Shylock's passionate speech, "Hath not a Jew eyes?" appeals to the common humanity in all of us. But the biggest blow comes from none other than his own daughter, who robs him and runs away with a Jew, baiting Christian. His pain at the news of Jessica giving away in exchange for a monkey his wife's cherished gift shows a softer side of a flinty character. We see how people are compelled to become what they are. The next important character is Antonio. A generous man and always willing to help his friends, Antonio is affectionate and kind, thoughtful and patient, but he rarely asserts himself. His dependence on Bassanio, his only real affection and emotional prop, leads him to extreme self-sacrifice. For all his good qualities, he does not make an impact. He is the merchant in the title, but far stronger characters upstage him. Antonio's generosity perhaps draws more friends to his side than an engaging personality, for he is sad and at times it borders on dejection. He considers the world no more than a stage where he must play a sad part. Long before the loss of his fortune would make him say, "I am a trained wether of the flock, meetest for death. His dreariness and excessive sentimentality is surprising in a wealthy and admired merchant prince of Venice. Antonio is considerate, unwilling to spoil Bassanio's chances of happiness, and for the Jew's bond, let it not enter in your mind of love, even in the face of death. He requests Bassanio to come only at his pleasure. His self-denial can be taken too far, but perhaps it is his ancient Roman honor, the same honor which makes him urge Bassanio to give Portia's ring to the lawyer, thinking perhaps that Portia would not mind it too. Antonio's prejudice against the Jews is the most marked among all the characters in the play. Perhaps the times have decided his attitude towards them. They are his one punching bag in a life that makes him weary and sad. In believing Shylock's well-acted friendship, he displays an innocence rare in a worldly merchant. But he is a merchant weary of a worldly life. He lives it only because it has Bassanio. His strange lack of spirit makes him more vulnerable. To Bassanio's exhortation to encourage at the trail, Antonio can only reply, "You cannot better be employed, Bassanio, than to live still and write my epitaph." The next is Bassanio. For all that he is the hero, Bassanio does not make a powerful impact on the reader. Handsome, pleasant, a scholar and a soldier, an Elizabethan ideal, but he leaves no lasting impression. He is a compulsive spender and has run into heavy debts. He well makes us wonder what a woman like Portia saw in him. But Bassanio is a likable man. He enters the play with good sneers both when shall we laugh, taking away the pall of gloom with which it starts. He is good-natured, easy-going and friendly, and people are drawn to him. Antonio loves the world for his sake. Gratiano latches onto him to Belmont. Launcelot leaves the rich Jew's service for him. Nerissa feels he is best deserving of a fair lady, and a person no less than Portia falls in love with him. Bassanio is worldly, wise and clever. His chief concern is to come fairly off his debts. As he is not one of the world's workers, marriage to a young lady richly left can get him out of his difficulties. His eagerness to get money directs him to locate Shylock, the richest Jewish moneylender in Venice, who unfortunately is also Antonio's arch enemy. But Bassanio is humble rather than presume upon Antonio's willingness to lend him money. He takes pains to explain his plans to him. On winning Portia, he is doubtful of his success and asks for confirmation. In welcoming Celerio and Lorenzo to Belmont, Bassanio turns to Portia for the privilege to do so. Bassanio is honest and hides nothing. He tells Launcelot that he is able to enter the service of a poor gentleman. He does not shy from telling Portia that the only wealth he has is his claim to nobility. He comes to Belmont heralded by rich gifts but confesses to financing it with borrowed money. He rates himself at worse than nothing. Despite all these qualities, he cannot solve his problems. So far, Antonio has bailed him out of crisis. Now Portia takes charge. When news of Antonio's imprisonment comes in, Portia organizes everything that and spells out what has to be done. He is packed off in haste and with money, which we know does nothing to save Antonio. Shylock had said of Luanslet, "Drones hive not with me." Bassanio perhaps would earn the same remark. My dear students, apart from these characters, the two main characters are Graciano and Nerissa. I request all of you to find out about these two characters, and in our next class we'll directly discuss about the different acts of the play. Thank you.